version 3 of the poor man's welding position, I suppose you could call it. I'm just running this part at the moment. I just sort of jump in the middle of the job before I finish this job off. This is the very last part, so hopefully it goes well. And if I stuff it up, I won't be able to post this video. But the application or the setup probably won't suit everybody, but it's just more of the idea that you might be able to use to set up something yourself. So I'll just tilt you down and just show you the setup that I've got. It was originally just the fixture that I've got here is just mainly for assembling the part more than anything else, to set the length. So I have I'll bring it over a little bit closer. So you have a machined end on the end there, which is part that I've machined, with the acme thread on there, and it's got the reduced end on there for the cap that goes on there, and it just drops into that jig, so it sits in a nice socket and it spins around. Okay, so it's just to set the height of the bush here. Why I'm showing you that, but it's just to show you the setup. And obviously with the handle off at the top there, just tilting you back up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Hopefully it comes into the camera okay. I'm not the best videographer, so you'll have to excuse my average video. Okay, so you can actually rotate the part around. And obviously, as I say, welding around a part is obviously a lot better than trying to walk it around with the torch. So you've got a continuous weld until you've got your start-stop where you actually want it. Okay, so I won't waste too much more time. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, not everything that I show in the video is going to be useful for you, but it's more about just drawing ideas that might work for you. I'll just put you on pause because I'm not great at editing videos, so I'll just pause and then I'll get myself set up and then we'll get going with it. Before I fire up the weld, I'll just go for a little bit of information before that might help before I get started. Just get everything ready, gloves on and helmet and everything on, get down in a comfortable position. As most of you probably know, there's a bit of a saying in the trade, the more comfortable you are, the better your welds are. The more uncomfortable you are, usually the crappier your welds come out. So make yourself as comfortable as possible. I did forget to mention one thing in this video was the support here that I'm using to rest. So you want obviously a rest for your torch where you can hold the torch at position where you want it, and obviously just holding that there. There's just a rest to sit the torch on. In this case it just happens to be the actual holder for the MIG torch. So it's something you can buy online, it's not too expensive, and it's just something you can stick to your welding bench. Generally this is my TIG welding bench, I don't generally MIG weld on this bench. So obviously the magnetic base is great for that, and you can get yourself set up for the amount of wire you've got sticking up before you hit your weld. So I won't get too technical about explaining terms and everything. I'm sure you guys are watching this are not people who are experienced welders, so I won't get into any fancy terms and try to confuse you with what I'm talking about to show you the actual use of it. One thing you do have to make sure of is to make sure you can actually get all the way around before you start the weld. So just get a feeling for it. Okay. A bit like walking upstairs. Once you walk up the first step, your mind starts catching up. Okay, so what you want to probably do is, what I do is I start to lead in and then start from, I suppose you could say, a 12 o'clock position, and then work our way around the actual part. Always when I'm videoing something, I always forgot what I'm talking about. But anyway, you'll get the idea of it. That's more than anything else. So leading in, start around, and then finish. Okay, so you will see the arc, so you'll have to close your eyes for that one, no filter. Okay. Hopefully I don't stuff it up. Back to the start. Okay, so you've seen how easy that was. As I mentioned earlier, I do TIG weld these before, but I've gone to MIG welding just for speed more than anything else. There is a little bit more in the cleanup, but between the cost of argon gas and the time it takes to TIG weld something, it's just a lot quicker to do it with the MIG. You've seen how quick that was. You can imagine how long that takes to walk around with the TIG, even in my eBay welding positioner. But you can see how well the welds come out. And obviously you'll have to set your own. I can't really tell you what volts and amps I'm using because I have an older transformer machine which doesn't show you anything. So it has the old analog needles on the front, so there's no data log or anything like that to actually tell you what I'm welding at, what wire feed, what voltage. So You can see that came out all right. Just get you zoomed in nice and close for those who are interested. Let's see the weld, man. Come on, let's see what your weld looks like. Okay, so walking it around, so the start-stop. There's probably a little bit of a lump there, but it's not too bad. Obviously, when you lead in, sort of like rolling in, come through the opposite direction. As you're leading in, get yourself a bit of a lead in, start, and then rotate round, and then finish. Don't just like hold the part there and then start rotating. It's best to have a bit of a lead in, get it moving, then hit the button while it's on the move, rather than just hitting both at the same time. Hit the button and start turning, okay? Just something to think about anyway. But what works for you, maybe not work for me. So that's for you to work out. It's just to show you the setup and just hopefully the tips are helpful. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye for now.